don't think I've ever read a book review, word for word on the air before. And I'm not sure I've ever even read a book review on the air before, more than a paragraph. But this book review is so good, it must be read verbatim. A book so bad, it has shattered liberals' faith in DEI. It is a Free Beacon review of Independent, a look inside a broken White House outside the party lines by Karine Jean-Pierre. You ready? This is Stu. You're going to love this.
I can't wait.
Karine Jean-Pierre cannot stop making history. Earlier this year, the former White House press secretary became the highest-ranking openly queer French-born black woman with a hyphenated surname to publicly renounce the Democratic Party for being mean to Joe Biden. She is the only black female lesbian immigrant to publish a book about her time in the Biden administration. And it is the worst political memoir ever written in the history of the English language. This is not hyperbole. It is a especially vacuous genre and highly competitive, to be sure. But imagine writing a book so bad it could shame Democrats and liberals into second-guessing their cult-like devotion to DEI. That is exactly what Jean-Pierre has done with her book, Independent. In 2022, Jean-Pierre's promotion to White House press secretary was hailed by Democrats and journalists, where there, to the extent there's a difference, as a triumph for diversity and representation. She is now widely viewed, in the words of a reporter who worked with her, as the most incompetent and irrelevant White House press secretary ever. Former colleagues now describe her as ineffectual, unprepared, and kind of dumb. Jean-Pierre's book tour, if you can call it that, has been now described as a car crash and non-stop cringe. She fumbles her way through interviews, repeatedly invoking her lived experience as a trailblazing black woman and openly gay pioneer. The same people who pioneered her historic promotion and the first to denounce her critics as bigots are rolling their eyes every time she falls back on identity politics instead of actually answering a question. She reinforces the worst stereotype about Democrats, says a former White House colleague. Her egregious performance in an interview with the New Yorker, one Democratic strategist likened it to Mike Tyson fighting a baby. Jean-Pierre told the New Yorker, the broken White House, in reference to the subtitle, remember, it's Independent, a look inside a broken White House outside the party lines, okay? So she's in the interview with the reporter from the New Yorker. The broken White House referenced in the subtitle, she said, is actually a reference to Donald Trump's White House, not the one that she was writing about or everyone assumed she was writing about. It's a strange thing to lie about, something a clueless person might blurt out when they get flustered. But in the author's defense, even a semi-talented communicator could struggle to defend this drivel. Readers may be surprised to learn that Jean-Pierre became a professional spokesperson because she was even less capable in a different field. I wish I would have known this. Did you know this? Her parents, oh God help us. Her parents wanted her to become a doctor.
Oh my God.
Imagine. But she flunked the medical school entrance exam, so she switched gears and entered the Ivy League to Democratic Party pipeline, where talent barely matters when there's history to be made with every promotion. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but Jean-Pierre implies all of her jobs since have been plagued by disloyal colleagues who question her competence. I love that. I love that. At some point, you do, if this is your experience time after time after time, eventually you do have to ask, maybe it's me. And I know this from experience because that was my experience. I was so egotistical and full of myself when I was in my 20s that I couldn't work with anybody because they're all incompetent. They're all whatever, you know. No, Glenn, you're an ass. That's what I finally came to the conclusion. Why does everybody say I'm an ass? Well, probably because I was an ass. That's why. Independent, her book, which is both mercifully brief, 172 pages, and intolerably long.
172 pages?
172 pages.
I had no idea.
172 pages.
That is a great description of it too, because that is amazingly short for the stuff she's talking about.
It's like a bathroom reader,
right? But then,
like a bathroom reader.
I'd imagine reading it must feel eternal.
Intolerably long. I love this review. I want to hug the person who wrote this review. Jean-Pierre claims she never noticed Biden's cognitive decline despite meeting with him at least once a day for 2.5 years. Her observations reflect an alarming disconnect with reality. She denounces the media for grilling the Democrats and softballing the Republicans. She recounts her disbelief when days after that one wobbly debate where Biden bragged about beating Medicare, blah, blah, blah. I'm quoting from the book, where Biden bragged about beating Medicare, blah, blah, blah. Not a single reporter asked a question about his landmark efforts to bring about social justice, end quote.
Oh, God.
Like her rambling press briefings, Jean-Pierre's prose is riddled with contradictions that boggle the mind. Democrats should have been more loyal to Biden. That's why she left the party. She's an independent now because no entity deserves blind loyalty. I want you to remember that. No entity deserves blind loyalty. Multiple interviewers have noted the discrepancy. Pierre, who holds a master's degree from Columbia University, doesn't follow.
I mean, Columbia University got to be ashamed of themselves for that. I mean, I understand she didn't earn it and they just handed it to her. I get it. But like, that is a disgrace. How could you act as if she could graduate something? That is a completely ridiculous concept.
Columbia University hosted Nazis to speak to the campus in the 1930s, and then sheltered Nazis in the campus and as teachers. I mean, what if you're not embarrassed by that crap? What, you're embarrassed by her? Not a chance. Not a chance. For obvious reasons, she declines to note that Barack Obama was one of the party leaders most skeptical of Harris. She said she never really believed that Kamala Harris could win, but any Democrat who argued with her or suggested Harris should compete for the nomination was insulting all black women. It's easy to see why Democrats are so annoyed. Her absurd retelling of the 2024 election notwithstanding, Jean-Pierre has no useful suggestions to offer. They should. This is from her book. Democrats should think creatively, move nimbly, and plan strategically in pursuit of bolder solutions. Oh my gosh.
That's just nothing.
Empathy is key. Stop supporting the candidates who are elected, instead backing the inspirational ones. Democrats should look to the Grammy Awards for inspiration, because we all know how popular the Grammy Awards are. Watching all those Hollywood millionaires denouncing Trump reminded me that monumental change was possible. One of Jean-Pierre's boldest ideas, something Democrats should definitely consider, is restarting the vigorous conversation about being anti-racist. Alas, Jean-Pierre is no longer a Democrat. Now remember, she said no blind loyalty, right? No blind loyalty. She's no longer a Democrat because she does not believe in blind loyalty. Okay. All right. She explains in the pages that follow in so many words, she explains that leaving the party was a tantrum-like plea for attention, a deeply personal quest for, quote, new ways to be acknowledged. That's a quote.
New ways
Her
to be
leaving the party
acknowledged.
was a quest for new ways to be acknowledged, and it's also about self-care. Now, she's left the party because nobody gets blind loyalty, but she'll never vote for a Republican or even a third-party candidate.
Well, then what?
Wait. wait, if you'll rule those two out, I won't vote for a third party and I won't vote for Republican, but I'm going to vote. But they don't get my blind loyalty.
Gosh, she's an idiot. It's just,
I mean, really,
I'd love to say it's more complicated than that, but she's just a vapid moron. Moron.
Jean-Pierre urges others to follow suit, to proclaim their independence and follow their own political compass. She doesn't have a political compass. What is she saying? She's still going to vote the same way.
Yeah, it's like...
It's an incredibly brave thing to do, she says. It's so important to carry... It's so important to carry around a talisman to remind you of the values you hold. Like a biography of a poet who spoke to a better world and spoke a better world into existence. Yeah, I'm walking around all the time with an old book of poetry, or a pebble from a beach where you once dreamed and felt free. She says she hopes the book will provoke a more nuanced political conversation. It certainly has provoked a conversation shockingly nuanced in its context of the Democratic Party politics. It's just not the one she was expecting. That is fantastic.
It's a great review. I fear they maybe went a little light on her, honestly.
Well, it's only 172 pages.
Yeah, so what can you do? I will say the part that's most frustrating about that is talking about the interviews she's done in this book tour, which have been among the worst interviews I've ever seen with someone who's supposed to have an operating brain inside their skull. And what's frustrating about that is all of those moments were readily available to every media member the entire time she was White House press secretary. Yep. If any of them asked her any difficult questions the entire time she worked there, they would have learned all of this stuff before.
All of it.
Now they find it okay to actually press her on these issues because they don't care about her book sales.
Right. And the same thing. I mean, look at what's happening. I mean, her and Kamala Harris are exactly the same story. It's DEI in action. They're exactly the same story. Both vapid, one more so than other. One is vapid and I believe filled with so much helium that she could float away to the sun. But the same kind of stuff is happening with Kamala. Once they are asked questions, you see they can't handle it. They don't have any idea what they're talking about.
I will say, yes, I think that's true. I think there's a comparison to be made there. I do think, Kamala has proven herself to be an able backroom warrior. She is in multiple ways, some of which the backroom is there's a bed in it. And then other ways, it's also that she is legitimately good. And I mean this sincerely, legitimately good at haranguing a bunch of donors to her side in a Democratic scuffle. She has done that multiple times throughout her career, behind closed doors, to be able to kind of pressure and harangue people into donating to her, into supporting her over other Democrats. She really, the way she just wrestled, Barack Obama, with his 96% approval rating among Democrats, came out and said, I can't wait to see what process we have to determine what the next nominee will be.
Oh, I know.
And in hours, she had the nomination. Like, she is legitimately good at that one thing, which is unlike Karine Jean-Pierre, who's legitimately good at nothing.
I understand when you're talking about the gravity or the pull, of the individual, in comparison to the Pluto-like gravity of Jean-Pierre, okay?
Yeah.
Yes, she does make... Kamala Harris look like the sun. Okay, so I do understand that, but comparatively speaking, they are both in a different universe entirely.